Hi again and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about the idea of database entities and relationships. I'm also going to help you understand what dimensional modeling is all about and demonstrate how to use primary keys and foreign keys to achieve optimized data storage in SQL databases. But first, let's formally define these concepts. A database entity is a thing, person, place, object, or any item about which the data should be collected. For example, in a customer database, customer is considered the database entity, while any information that can be linked to customer, such as contact information, account information, the cars owned, etc., would be considered customer's property. Dimensional modeling, on the other hand, is the process of optimizing data storage. It is used to arrange data in a way that makes it easier to retrieve information and generate reports, which is crucial for analytics. And when we talk about arranging data, we essentially refer to the way it's organized in the form of entities, properties, and their corresponding relationships. One way to achieve this arrangement of data is by using primary keys and foreign keys in relational database systems. Let's take a look at what primary keys and foreign keys are all about. A primary key is a column or a set of columns in a table whose values uniquely identify a row in the table. A foreign key, on the other hand, is a column or a set of columns in a table whose values correspond to the values of the primary key in another table. Simply put, primary keys and foreign keys are a way for us to link multiple tables together. Let's take a look at how this is actually achieved in practice. Building on top of my previous videos, you must now be familiar with how to create tables. I'm going to continue with the same example of a car dealership and define two tables this time. One, the owners table to hold information of the customers, and two, cars table to hold the information of the cars owned by these customers. So let's begin with the owners table. The difference between the tables defined in my previous video and this video is that we'll be using the concept of keys. For the owners table, I will define a primary key called owner ID, which will be used to uniquely identify a customer. This is very similar to the ID on your national identity documents, be it a passport or a security number. It is used to uniquely identify each individual. Also, it helps avoid duplicate data entry, which causes redundancy and makes analytics really cumbersome. Okay, so now we know we want owner ID to be a primary key. While defining it, you must specify the not null constraint. This is because the primary key cannot be left blank or cannot be null. It is one of the rules of defining a primary key. You can find more information in my notes linked below. So I'll define this owner ID to be an integer type data and also specify the not null constraint. Then we have first name, last name, age, and phone number. As per the syntax, in the end, we must specify that owner ID is our primary key as shown over here. Let's describe this table. Here you'll see the constraints that we've just set. Null values aren't allowed and owner ID is our primary key. Next, let's create a table to hold information on cars. But wait, before designing databases, it is really important to first draft out the schemas, also known as relationships between different tables, before actually implementing it. We use something called as an entity relationship diagram for this, or ER diagram. Entities represent real-world objects, and in this case, our entities will be owners and cars. The diagram would then help map out the relationships between different entities. Owners and cars are our entities, and how we define the relationship is shown in this diagram. You must be wondering why we need a separate table for both these entities. Let me tell you why. From common knowledge, we know that one person may own multiple cars. Now, if we were to store all of this information in just one table, what would happen? we would have a really long table with a lot of redundant values, something like this. This is very difficult to do analytics on. For example, if someone asked me the average age of a customer, I wouldn't be able to perform it directly on this dataset because a customer is captured here more than once and the calculated average would be incorrect. You need to capture data for each entity in isolation and then link them together. So coming back to our data model, we're going to design it in a way to represent the relationship between owners and cars as seen in the real world. Remember, with a primary key constraint, we cannot insert two rows for the same customer in the same table. However, we do need a way to define this one-to-many relationship between customers and cars. So we keep the cars information out of the owner's table and give it a separate table of its own. In the cars table though, every car is uniquely identified the car number plate, and that's our unique primary key. The owner ID is the foreign key which links to the owner ID in the owner entity. The foreign key values can repeat in the cars table. So even if a customer has two cars, it can be captured under the cars table. Also, it's important to remember here that the data type of the foreign key must match the data type of the primary key. Okay, so now that we have an understanding of what data model we're trying to achieve, let's create the cars table. The car number plate is going to be the primary key with the not null constraint. I'm keeping this at varchar length 7, assuming the format of the number plate is going to be something like 4 characters followed by 3 numbers. Then we have car owner ID. This is going to be the foreign key referencing the primary key in the owner's table. So it has to be of the same data type int. It also cannot have a value that doesn't exist in owner's table. One more thing I want to mention, the name of the column, owner ID, in cars table can be the same as the name in the owner's table. But here I prefixed it with the word cars for easy understanding. Next, let's include the car model type as well as the color of the car. As per syntax of MySQL, we specify the primary key and the foreign key reference at the end of the table definition here. Let's now look at the structure of this table. We have primary key and the foreign key, and this cannot be null. Okay, next up, I want to walk you through the insertion of records into these tables now that they're linked to each other. As per my video on DML commands, I'm going to use the insert command to map column headers to their values. We've assigned an ID for each customer. John Smith has a customer ID number 1 and Alice Wang has ID number 2, accompanied with age and phone number. And upon clicking execute, I just get an error. It says owner phone value is out of range. Of course, going back to the schema of the table, I've made a mistake in the data type for phone. The integer data type cannot hold such a large number. It should have been big int, at least. But let's define this to be a string type or varchar, as that is the right format to have for the phone number. I'm going to use the alter table command to change the column type here. Okay, and let's take a quick look at what happened with the owners table. Here we see the data type of phone number has been changed from int to varchar. Okay, so let's try the insert one more time with phone numbers defined as strings. And there we go, this was successful. Let's view the contents of the owner's table. I see here something is off with the owner phone number. We missed one digit for phone number for Alice. Let's correct that. I'll use the update command to change the value of this record. When using the update command, the where predicate or condition is used to specify for which record you specifically want to make the change. And it's easier if each record is uniquely identified by an ID, as we've done here. The ID for Alice is 2, So we want to update the phone number for the record where the ID is 2. Done. Let's check this now. So the record is now updated with a 10-digit phone number. Moving on, I want to insert a record for a third customer. Let's say John Doe. There was an error because the primary key should be unique. We already have John Smith with the ID 1, so John Doe should be number 3. Let's insert record number 4, Mark White, and then a record number 5, Nancy Sharma. Now for demonstration, I'll inject a blank or null value into record number 5 for Nancy Sharma, and there we go. And we get an error which says the primary key cannot be null. So let's change that. After changing that, we've inserted the record successfully into owners. Next, let's insert data into the cars table. We have the number plate, owner ID, make, and color. Remember, the car owner ID should have a value that exists in its parent table, which is owners. I cannot input ID to be equal to 10 if it simply does not exist in the owners table. So in this example, let's link 2 cars to John Smith having ID equals 1 and 2 cars for Nancy Sharma whose ID is 5 and 1 car each for the rest of them. Let's view these tables. Here we go. We've successfully populated the cars table. In part 2 of this video, I will be showing you how we can combine these two tables using joins to perform simple queries. Until then, happy practicing.